Committee will come to order. Good afternoon. I want to thank everyone for joining us today for this important roundtable with the Task Force on Enhancing Security for Special Events in the United States. The FIFA World Cup and America's 250th anniversary and the LA28 Summer Olympics will be great opportunities for us to showcase what makes America great. These events will bring millions of athletes, fans, and foreign delegations to our country, showcasing our people and our culture on a global stage. As chairman of this task force, I look forward to hearing more about the security preparedness efforts that FIFA and LA28 are conducting over the next few months. This task force was created to be proactive in identifying and addressing known security risks through a whole-of-society approach. Cyber attacks on critical infrastructure, online radicalization, and drones especially compromise some of the most pressing security challenges in today's landscape. Next year will also be the 250th birthday of the United States, which is why this task force is vital to bridge gaps and advance legislation to counter the multifaceted threats present. Last week, I visited, along with the chairman, the 9/11 Memorial, which reminded us all of the significant efforts we have taken as a nation to make America and the world safer. When I was chairman of this committee, ISIS and the Caliphate were at their peak. To address this global threat, I championed counterterrorism initiatives such as launching the Task Force on Denying Terrorist Entry into the United States to enhance intelligence sharing and counter online radicalization to prevent attacks on U.S. soil. The risk of security preparedness for the next year requires strong public-private information sharing efforts and effective security coordination between government, private sector, and our foreign partners. We have structured today's roundtable in two parts. This open portion is public, allowing members, staff, the press, and the public to hear directly from our briefers as they share their initial remarks. Afterwards, we will briefly clear the room and then continue with a closed-door question and answer session to protect the security operations. This transition is necessary so that members can engage in a more candid discussion with our briefers on sensitive aspects of their security planning. So I want to thank our briefers for joining us today and for their critical roles that they play in this process. We are fortunate to be joined here today by GB Jones, who is leading safety and security planning for the FIFA World Cup, and Voivette Morgan, who is serving as a senior vice president of safety and security for the LA28 Olympics and Paralympics Games. Both bring decades of experience in law enforcement, counterterrorism, and special event security, and they are at the forefront of preparing for these extraordinary undertakings. By working together, we can strengthen our security planning and ensure that the United States is as prepared as possible to hold these events, these global events, safely. And with that, I want to turn it over to the ranking member, Ms. Poe, for her opening statement.
Thank you, and good afternoon, Chairman McCall. First of all, let me just say that I'm truly very pleased to be leading our bipartisan task force with you today. It was great to welcome you to our district in New Jersey last week for a very productive and insightful tour of MetLife Stadium. It is essential that Congress and the American people hear directly from FIFA about security planning. After all, the games will certainly begin in just 9 months. So I'm glad that Mr. Jones, the Chief Safety and Security Officer for the 2026 World Cup, is here today. Thank you, sir, and welcome. The World Cup isn't the only global sporting event that the United States will host in the coming years. In 2028, we will roll out the red carpet for nations competing in the Summer Olympic and the Paralympic Games. So thank you to Ms. Morgan for briefing us, preparing to brief us on the LA's Olympics security preparations. These two events alone will draw tens of thousands of athletes and millions of spectators from across the world to our shores. It is imperative that we make these the safest and most secure event ever hosted by the United States or any other country. The investments of federal, state, and local taxpayers' dollars into these events is massive, including the $1.3 billion appropriated by Congress to help with security at the World Cup and the Olympic and Paralympic Games. To that end, on August 11th, the chairman and I wrote to FIFA and LA28 requesting that each designate, and quote, a senior executive with direct responsibility for event security and coordination with the United States government partners to testify at the public hearing, end of quote. I am somewhat dismayed that FIFA responded that it would not only appear, that it would only appear before Congress on the condition that they did not testify under oath or publicly answer questions. LA28 expressed similar opposition to testifying in public. The chairman and I want this bipartisan task force to be a partner to both FIFA and LA28. And please know that we're looking to do just that, not for it not to be an adversary. At the same time, we are responsible for, end quote, conducting vigorous oversight of federal planning and preparedness efforts, end of quote. That includes making sure that our private partners like FIFA and LA28 are transparent about who is covering security costs and how responsibilities will be in fact divided. I understand the reluctance to testify publicly about ongoing security planning and potential gaps. But this committee regularly holds testimony from law enforcement and intelligence agencies in a public setting. Our members have discretion on sensitive matters, but we were given no such opportunity. While I would have preferred the open and transparent hearing we called for, I want to thank FIFA and LA28 for appearing to brief us on the event security and coordination. These events are an opportunity to show off American hospitality and demonstrate that security does not conflict with our values of freedom and democracy. FIFA and LA28 will be on the world stage, and we want to ensure that they and their state, local, tribal, territorials, and private sector partners have the full backing of the federal government. Ensuring these special events that are safe and successful requires a whole of government approach that will get resources where they are in fact needed. I look forward to hearing from FIFA and LA28 about what is going right in security planning, what more needs to be done, and where Congress can be able to help. Together, we can make sure that government resources and experiences are getting where they need to be. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you to today's presenters. I'm truly looking forward to your testimony, and I am sure that will indeed be very informative and lively, and a lively initial conversation. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Generally yields. The chair now recognizes the chairman of the full committee, Mr. Garbarino.
Thank you, Chairman. I want to start by thanking the briefers from FIFA and LA28 for joining this roundtable today. With your help, we are building an important partnership between the public and private sectors that will help ensure the 2026 World Cup and the 2028 Olympics and the Paralympics are safe and secure for all in attendance. Your insight today will be invaluable as we conduct oversight of the federal government's coordinations with the states and localities, as well as non-government entities, to ensure these events run smoothly. I also want to thank Task Force Chair McCall, former chairman of this full committee, for his service in Congress and his dedication to the Homeland Security mission. I think I speak for all of us in saying your leadership in these halls will be greatly missed, but your upcoming retirement is well earned. Ranking Member Poe, I also want to thank you for your continued leadership on this task force and for leading a trip to your own district last week to MetLife Stadium. As the U.S. prepares to host millions of visitors to the World Cup and the Olympics, we know our adversaries are watching. From cyber intrusions to domestic, homegrown, and foreign terrorists seeking to make a statement on the world stage, we face heightened and evolving threats on U.S. soil. In particular, a concern that law enforcement officials consistently bring up in discussions with members of this committee is the threat posed by drones. I'm sure our briefers today will have plenty to discuss on this topic. Just 2 weeks ago, I introduced legislation alongside 2 other committees of jurisdiction that empowers federal agencies to strengthen detection and mitigation capabilities for malicious drones. The bill also establishes and expands from previous iterations of this bill a pilot program for certain state and local agencies to be able to mitigate drones swiftly. I also want to thank Congressman Jimenez, who's done a lot of work on this in his 4 years in Congress. This authority is lacking in our current counter-drone legal framework. We must find ways to close this gap so we can better protect our critical infrastructure and mass gathering events from this emerging technology. After numerous attacks targeting mass gathering events in recent years, including New Year's Day in New Orleans, this committee has an important mission to ensure we are prepared to mitigate these threats in the future. After commemorating the 24th anniversary of 9/11 just last week, the stakes of this mission could not be higher. Thank you again for being here, and I look forward to hearing more about your security, preparations, and coordination with federal, state, and local, and the private sector stakeholders. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I currently have votes on the Foreign Affairs Committee and a markup, and I would ask that Mr. Jimenez take the chair. But I will be back.
Before hearing from our briefers, I'd like to quickly introduce them. GB Jones is the Chief Safety and Security Officer for FIFA World Cup 2026. He was previously with the NFL, where he directed international security planning for the games in London, Germany, and Mexico. Mr. Jones retired from the FBI after nearly 23 years, where his assignments included directing counterterrorism programs and special events, aviation, and maritime security. He supervised an FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force during the 9/11-2001 terrorist attacks. Mr. Jones was also a rated FBI pilot and aerial camera operator, and he holds an FAA private pilot and Part 107 commercial remote pilot certification. Ms. Voiviette Morgan, I'm sorry, did I pronounce that right?
It's Vaviette.
Vaviette, sorry.
No,
Okay.
no problem.
Okay, Vaviette Morgan is the Senior Vice President of Safety and Security for the Los Angeles Organizing Committee for the 2028 Olympics and Paralympic Games, where she is responsible for overseeing security operations, working in partnership with local, state, and federal agencies, as well as developing and implementing safety protocols, policies, and procedures for the 2028 Los Angeles Olympic Organizing Committee. A career law enforcement officer, Ms. Morgan held senior leadership positions at the FBI, including Assistant Director and Senior Law Enforcement Advisor to the CIA, where she led and coordinated high-level operations domestically and internationally. She also served as Special Agent in charge of the Los Angeles Criminal and Intelligence Divisions, overseeing critical infrastructure, protection, special events, and large-scale security operations at sites including LAX and the Los Angeles and Long Island and Long Beach seaports. With those introductions, I'll now turn it over to Mr. Jones for his opening statement.
Good afternoon, Chairman McCall, Acting Chairman Jimenez,
Thank you.
Ranking Member Poe, and members of the task force. Thank you for the opportunity to appear before you today. My name is G.B. Jones, and I serve as the Chief Safety and Security Officer for the FIFA World Cup 2026. As lead security official for the tournament, I am responsible for the operational security planning and execution of the FIFA World Cup 2026 across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. I am assisted by an incredibly skilled and collaborative team embedded in each nation to ensure consistency in the delivery of safety, security, and service across the entire tournament footprint. I'm here today representing FIFA World Cup 2026, which is the entity responsible for delivery of the World Cup on behalf of FIFA, the global governing body of football, and the owner and organizer of the FIFA World Cup. We are proud to bring the world's game to North America in 2026, with matches hosted across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. This will be the largest tournament in FIFA's history and the most watched sporting event in the world. FIFA has a long-standing and proven record of delivering safe and secure global tournaments. Most recently, the FIFA Club World Cup 2025, hosted here in the United States, demonstrated the strength of our integrated safety and security model. FIFA's role is clear, with federal, state, and local authorities, as well as private sector partners, working together to ensure a unified and effective approach. We are responsible for securing official FIFA sites, which include the stadiums, training sites, hotels, and other locations, but we are especially focused on the match operations, team operations, spectator safety and security, and the stadium fan experience. Host cities, in turn, are responsible for safety and security outside the stadium perimeter, including public spaces, transportation hubs, and fan zones. But neither FIFA nor the host cities can succeed without the full engagement and support of the federal governments. The scale and complexity of this tournament demand more than business as usual. They require a coordinated federal response in all three nations that matches the magnitude of the event, one that provides the necessary authorities, resources, and leadership to ensure all partners can do their jobs effectively. My comments today will focus on the support of the United States government and the partnership we have forged with departments, agencies, and the Trump administration. The 2025 tournament served as a valuable opportunity to pilot operational frameworks and to pursue policy initiatives that will be essential to the successful delivery of the FIFA World Cup in 2026. It highlighted the operational demands of international sporting events and the importance of federal coordination. Over 2.5 million fans from 168 countries attended matches in 12 stadiums in 11 cities across the United States, with 72 nationalities represented on the pitch. These numbers reflect not only the global nature of the tournament, but the security challenges presented. As we look ahead to 2026, our priorities are focused in 4 key areas. Number 1 is the International Police Cooperation Center, or the IPCC. Building on the virtual pilot that was used during the Club World Cup, we urged federal support to establish and fund a full-scale IPCC. The Physical Operations Center would serve as the central hub for international law enforcement coordination, including operational support of a police spotter program and a dedicated location for real-time information sharing between host nation, host city, and international law enforcement partners. Number 2, information sharing and intelligence. We call for robust collaboration to ensure comprehensive name checks for all accredited individuals, including internal FBI name checks and National Crime Information Center, or NCIC, queries. This is vital for timely and actionable threat intelligence and awareness, mitigation of potential insider threats, and alignment with best practices for major international events. Number 3 is the counter-UAS authority expansion. We ask Congress and federal agencies to extend counter-UAS authority to qualified state and local law enforcement agencies under federal oversight. DHS, FBI, the FAA, and the state, local, tribal, and territorial law enforcement partners who will partner with them during the FIFA World Cup matches must be equipped with the resources and legal frameworks necessary to mitigate drone threats across all venues where airspace security risks are identified. This includes matches, FIFA fan fests, training sites, and other large outdoor gatherings where drone threats may compromise safety and security. And finally, maintenance or expansion of baseline capability and public safety technical training programs. We ask Congress and the federal agencies to continue funding the critical public safety training programs, which will ensure crisis leadership, operational response, and incident management capabilities are present and prepared across the tournament footprint. Ensuring continuity of these training programs is essential for our overall capacity to prepare for and manage international sporting events like the FIFA World Cup 2026 and the LA28 Olympics. But these programs also build capacity for the effective management of national special security events, terrorist attacks, major criminal incidents, natural disasters, and other incidents of national significance. If we appropriately leverage the FIFA World Cup with an investment mentality, we will reap the dividends of preparedness across all of the international sporting events which will be hosted in the United States over the next decade. From the World Cup in 26 to the LA Olympics in 28, the men's and women's rugby World Cups in 2030 and 2031, and the 2034 Winter Olympic Games. Additionally, the FIFA Women's World Cup may be hosted in the United States pending an outstanding bid in 2031. Congressional stewardship now will ensure the legacy of preparedness will live on long after the final whistle at New York, New Jersey on July 19th next year. We're grateful for the support Congress and the Trump administration have already provided, including the $625 million requested by the host cities to help fund their safety and security efforts. However, the success of the tournament hinges on the continued elevated engagement by the federal government in strong partnership with FIFA. This is not just a sporting event. It's a global platform for the United States, and it should be treated as such. FIFA is fully committed. Host cities are stepping up. We urge the federal government to enhance its leadership, coordination, and resources to support this event, ensuring it is both historic in scale and exemplary in safety and security. We look forward to continuing our collaboration with Congress, the White House, and our interagency partners to ensure the FIFA World Cup 2026 is a proud moment for the United States and a safe celebration for the world. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak to you today. I look forward to your questions.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. I'll now turn it over to Ms. Morgan for her opening statements.
Good afternoon, Chairman McCall, Acting Chairman Jimenez, Ranking Member Poe, and members of the task force. Thank you very much for this opportunity to testify. My name is Viviette Morgan, and I am the Senior Vice President for Safety and Security for LA28, a nonprofit independent organization responsible for organizing the Olympic and Paralympic Games. The Games will kick off in Los Angeles in just 1,030 days, with the opening ceremony for the Olympics on July 14th, 2028, and the Paralympic opening ceremony kicking off on August 15th, 2028. I am honored to be here today to speak on behalf of LA28, and I look forward to partnering with this task force, the House Homeland Security Committee, and all of Congress in the lead up to and preparation for the 2028 Games. Before we go any further, I would like to thank this committee and Congress for the $1 billion that was included in the reconciliation bill to assist state and local law enforcement agencies with costs they will incur in the planning and security for the Games. This money is instrumental in ensuring that the Games will be safe and secure. In my role, I am responsible for overseeing security operations by working in partnership with local, state, and federal agencies, as well as developing and implementing safety protocols, procedures, and policies for LA28. While LA28 is responsible for organizing the Games, there is a strong role for federal, state, and local governments to provide law enforcement resources to ensure a safe and secure Games. Before taking this job, as mentioned by Acting Chairman Jimenez, I worked for more than 25 years in law enforcement and national security. The only additional information I'll provide on my background is I was born and raised in Los Angeles, which makes these upcoming Games very personal and special to me. The 2028 Olympic and Paralympic Games will be the biggest in Olympic history, with 36 Olympic sports and 351 events taking place across 49 venues, including events in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. These are America's Games and are expected to bring an estimated 15 million spectators from around the world, as well as roughly 12,000 Olympic and 4,480 Paralympic athletes. In addition to the Games, LA28 is organizing the Torch Relay, which will, for the first time, visit all 50 states, adding another layer of security needs. To put the task of hosting the Games into perspective, the LA28 Olympics will be equal to hosting 7 Super Bowls per day for 16 consecutive days, and the Paralympics will be equal to hosting 2 Super Bowls per day for 12 consecutive days. The Games were designated a National Special Security Event, also known as an NSSE, in January of 2024, the earliest NSSE designation to date. The United States Secret Service has set up an executive steering committee and created 12 subcommittees to focus on pressing needs such as critical infrastructure, transportation, intelligence, crisis management, and venue security, to name a few. This structure allows smaller groups of critical stakeholders that will be involved in securing the Games to focus on specific topics with leading experts in each area, while also benefiting from an overarching leadership structure. Additionally, LA28 applauds the administration for the executive order establishing the White House Task Force on the 2028 Summer Olympics, which again enforces the need for a whole-of-government approach. As I work with my federal, state, and local counterparts, I would like to briefly raise a few areas we are focused on. The Paris Games in 2024 faced unprecedented cybersecurity challenges. The Paris Games had 10 times more cyber attacks than Tokyo did in 2022, with over 50 billion events. LA28 was able to participate in the Paris 2024 Cybersecurity Operations Center and brought back many lessons learned. The persistent threat of unmanned aircraft systems have surged in recent years. To make the detection and mitigation of drones one of the overarching concerns for any sporting event. LA28 appreciates the work that this committee has done seeking to expand authorities to detect and mitigate unmanned aircraft systems. Lastly, one of the biggest challenges for the Games is facilitating transportation for the 15 million visitors and spectators, as well as the athletes competing in the Games. These examples are simply meant to show the scope and depth of the issues that government at all levels needs to work through in preparation for the Games. I again would like to thank Chairman McCall, Acting Chairman Jimenez, and Ranking Member Poe and all of the task force members for this opportunity to speak this afternoon, and I look forward to your questions.
Thank you, Ms. Morgan. Thank you both for those remarks. At this point, we will transition into the closed-door portion of today's roundtable. I ask that members of the press and public please exit the hearing room so that task force members may continue with a candid discussion and